Hey, what's up, plant peeps? It's been a while since I did a video. I'm not going to be one of those people who says that at every video because that's stupid. I want to talk about a couple things today. One is just give like a general update on the plants. It's been a while since I did one. Two is talk about... Oh, how red my face looks again. Anyways, two is talk about the plant monster. I have this, like, people have like a party monster. I have this like insatiable urge during certain times of the year to buy way too many plants. So it's like orchid show season and that's awesome and I'm excited about that. But I ordered like 25 new plants. I got like Phalaenopsis maculata coming in. I've got Vanda, Mimi Palmer. And I have all of these like really great plants, but then I don't have space in my grow room for them. So I'm gonna have to do a lot of purging. So I wanted to make sure that I took this video to capture some of the blooms that I have now and just give a general update. And then once I get my order of plants, probably around beginning of April, then I want to do a repotting video or a potting video with talking about the importance of sphagnum moss in low quantities, and then just general like mixes in what I use for Phragmipediums, Phalaenopsis, Paphiopedilums, etc. So let's get on with the actual update of the plants that I have going. So this is the top row. I'm pretty sure most of these were in bloom beforehand. It looks as though my Miltoniopsis Alexander is still in bloom, but it actually dropped blooms and opened a new set, and one of them looks all like wonky. I don't know what happened here, but it's got like some crazy deformity. I also have another spike right there that has two more flowers on the way. So I love this plant. I know its leaves look like crap because the humidity is too low, and so it's got some accordion leaves going on, but it smells insane, like all day long in here. The last time I said it smelled like almonds, I lied. What I meant was almond extract, like what you use for baking. It's this like really sweet, perfumey smell. Really like this plant. Anyways, this is my super gigantic pink Phalaenopsis. This one here that looks kind of like a big old specimen plant. And beside it is the cascading one that was in bloom last time. Still hasn't dropped its flowers. Let's move down below. As you can see, the Phalaenopsis Stone Dance is still in full show, and I love that plant so much. This one is Phalaenopsis CTL Vio Sapphire, and it's just starting its bloom for the like spring summer. It's a warm bloomer. It's a hybrid with Violacia and Phalaenopsis pulcherrima, and pulcherrima needs 14 hours of sunlight, up to 14 hours of sunlight in order to like put out a show. So now that I've been upping its light duration, it's finally started. But like, check out these roots. It is so crazy how many roots are growing on this thing. Like, it's going out of control. I freaking love this plant. I hope that one day it becomes a giant specimen for me, because the flowers smell like sunscreen, and it's super vibrant, and it's just like, it grows so fast. It actually has two leaves on the go right now. It's finishing the old one and it has a new one started. Anyways, enough about that. Super cool. Here's another yellow and maroon phal that I have that is a, what's that called? Harlequin. It was in bloom last time as well. I actually think this is going to be one of the ones that I get rid of, unfortunately, though it grows very well. It's a no ID, and I kind of want to get into the breeding stuff, so I don't want to have all these no IDs in my stock, which is not very good to breed with. Next up, super proud of, it is on the end of its bloom, Bulbophyllum cummingii. I don't know how to say that, so I'm not going to try it. Beyond that, it also has a gazillion new eyes growing. There's two here, there's one over there, and then there's another one coming out here, and there might even be a couple that are under the moss growing out, so I'm super happy about that. This is, so I shouldn't get into this. This was labeled as Phalaenopsis bastianii, but if you look at the lip here, that is the lip of, at least partially, a Phalaenopsis maryi. It is not fragrant. It has the structure and color of bastianii. The other one in the pot here beside it is supposed to be maryi, but who knows? They came from the same vendor, so I don't know. And by the way, all I can smell right now is sunscreen because of this frickin' plant. I love it. It's amazing. One more before we get out of here. is a new bloomer for me. Haven't had this one bloom like probably in over 5 years because it kind of had a rough patch. This is Phalaenopsis Memoria de Clemens? Clemens? I don't know how to say it. Anyways, it's a sequential Phalaenopsis, non-fragrant unfortunately, but that red color is so great. So next, I am not going to talk about, oh, I guess I missed this one almost. This has been in bloom a couple times, and last time I brushed over it, and I'm kind of annoyed that I did. This is Phalaenopsis Tying Shin Fly Eagle. And the flowers on this smell, at the beginning, floral, and then they kind of get this like goat cheese smell, which sounds gross. It's like a floral goat cheese, like a metallic goat cheese. Anyways, it's supposed to be yellow and red, and you can see like a tiny little bit of yellow, but because of the temperatures or light in my place, all the flowers on this come out red, which is cool in itself, but not really like, kind of the whole point of getting that flower is to get like a mix of yellow and red. Anyways, let's go check out the plants in the terrarium, and then I'll take you to the front. Okay, so this is the terrarium. A lot has changed in here, as in it's just become a giant weed-infested, like weed in a good way, but weed-infested tank. It's really hard to call out any individual plants in here. So I'll just give you a general show. And then that was an orchid that was in bloom. It was a Dendrobium nobile that died. So whatever. Not died, the flowers died. Anyways, up in the back, so last time we talked, I showed you my little like fountain. And that backing is cocoa fiber. And the cocoa fiber has started to tear under the weight and like degradation over time. So this summer, I actually need to make sure that I replace that backing, which sucks because all the moss is like growing out of it. Like nothing in here is actually anchored on. It's just, I put a bunch of moss in there, it grew, and then I put other plants in the moss, and that's how everything's kind of growing. So while it looks really fantastic, the weight of all that is pulling, and I'm gonna have to try and get a material called hydrolon or hydrolon, I don't know how to say it, but the goal is to find that this summer and improve the overall like presentation of the background. I need to change the water. It's getting super, like I'm using tap water on this stuff, so the pH is climbing very high. I think it's at like 8.5 or 9 now, which I know. I am also surprised that any of these plants are doing as well as they are. Anyways, so let's go check out the plants in the front room. So this is my like shitty extra foul pile. This is kind of where the like, yeah, they're nice, but they don't get like direct windows placement go. I actually think I'm gonna try and get rid of at least a couple of these. I say get rid of, I still care about them. I'm sad that I have to let them go, but I have too many phals and too many no-name phals, and I don't like that. This phal here looks like Phalaenopsis Duodenum something rose. It's a no ID, I don't know what it is, but guess what? It smells like freaking barbecue or like charcoal, like a smoky smell, which is really cool. So I think when I get rid of them, I'm gonna do like a little write-up on like why someone would want to keep them. Maybe that's too much work, but like it's doing really well. I don't know why someone wouldn't want it. I just don't have space for it, and I feel bad about that. This is that Miva Satismo, blah blah blah. I don't know how to say it. It's still in bloom. It has been in bloom for 3 months. I love that. This is a Miltoniopsis, no ID. I don't know what it's called. It's one of my favorite. It smells like her Alexander, but it's got like really fantastic red colors. So in this corner, I have three Miltoniopsis. This one here, and this one here. And I think I'm gonna get rid of these two and keep this one. They're nice, but they just take up so much space for things that I could be doing with other things. We got a new couch, and that is my parents' dog. So she's super cute. Say hi, Gabby. Say hello, cute. Okay, so window in the front room. Check this out. All of my Catasetinae type plants are coming out of dormancy. I do want to do a video about Catasetinae later on and how I grow them. Living in Canada, the weather is super dry, right? Like I've already talked about that. My humidity in my home ranges anywhere from 18% up to about 65% on average. If it rains, obviously it goes way higher, but it doesn't rain a lot here. It snows a lot, and so the humidity on average is a lot lower. So my whole point with that is, all of my Catasetinae plants, I water throughout the winter. I know that everyone's like, oh, you can't do that because you water, they're gonna die and get bulb rot. But I don't find that. I water them all so that they don't lose leaves completely. They do lose some, and I probably skip a watering every second week or so. But if I stop watering through the winter, they desiccate and die within a month, like hands down. I've already lost like 10. So I've had lots of discussions about this topic with my friends who grow in different climates, and if you grow in a similar climate to me, don't be scared to try something a little bit different, because a lot of the times the advice that you're reading online comes from people who grow in greenhouses, and that's fantastic, and it's great that that information is there, but for you that might not work. And if you find that your Catasetinae is like super shriveled and it looks sick and you can't get bigger bulbs the next year, A, make sure it's getting enough light, B, make sure it's getting enough fertilizer, and C, if you find it's shriveling a lot over the winter and you're missing that like growth in the spring, maybe start watering a little bit more so that the roots from the previous bulb don't completely die. Because I have found that those old roots, being able to sustain the plant year over year, is better. It's a hypothesis, who knows? I'll post about this again later. If you want to flame me for it, go for it. Again, the only plant I have ever had rot problems with is one Paphiopedilum lowii, who is still alive, but he's the only one, and that's that. So this whole thing about bulb rot, I think it only applies if you're running into a situation where the humidity is really high and the water is not evaporating in between waterings. Pause, interruption time. So I am watching the video as I'm editing. Surprisingly stitches together well with minimal editing required, which is nice. But I don't know if you've noticed, but there's like this junky plastic thing on my window. Let's talk about that. Okay, I know that this looks junky. To be honest, I don't give a shit. That is a garbage bag that is translucent, and it goes all the way to the top, and it's draped over some shitty like drape pole. Blind pole? I don't know. Anyways, it's just a piece of garbage bag on my window. But the reason I have that there is because all of these are lower light plants, and this is a full south exposure window, and I don't want, well, specifically the Paphiopedilums getting 100% south facing window throughout the day. So that like background thing probably blocks, I would say, about 30 to 40%, which still means that I'm growing a lot of these plants very, very bright. However, if you look, they don't look worse for wear. In fact, the seedlings of all of my novelty phals, love it, they're all in growth. This little dude here is a Penang girl, got a new leaf on the way, lots of growth. I'm not gonna question what's going on here, because in my opinion, it's working. I did have to reduce the light. I didn't want to buy some sheer cloth or curtain or whatever for the window, so I used a garbage bag. And I don't care if you think it looks junky, it's my house, shut up. Okay, so enough about that, blah, blah, blah. This is a Paphiopedilum. It was supposed to be Limianum, but if you look at Limianum, they do have that kind of green halo that's like happening, where's the camera? Yeah, right here, that kind of green halo up in this area, which this one has, but he's also got some like funny structures in the form and the colors that makes me think it's probably a hybrid with something else. So for now, I'm just gonna call it a Paphiopedilum Pinocchio, because it seems like a good catch-all for whatever is in that family of sequential blooming flowers that's a hybrid. Another Paphiopedilum Pinocchio, which is truly a Pinocchio and not my like he bloomed again off of the existing spike. He's doing pretty well, happy about that. The other thing I want to point out specifically with my front window is like, man, you can tell it's spring. There's so many roots growing off of things. Like, how sweet is that? That plant is exploding in roots. My Vandas are picking up their root growth. In the pots, there's way more. You can't see it, but it's there. This is my Vanda tessellata, and there somewhere all along here, just roots busting out. And then here is my Cattleya guttata cerulean, and this year I have gotten so much root growth out of it. I really hope that I can get this thing to bloom because I'd love to see what the plant actually looks like. Again, other Cattleyas that are doing well. Cattleya Zip firing out a ton of new roots. Super happy about that. Better get a frickin' bloom on this because it has giant red amazing flowers, and I really want to see those. Also a plant that I haven't talked about but I love. This is the Australian finger lime, and I started it from seed. This thing is like 30 inches tall. So I'm going to put it outside of the deck this year after I replant it, and hopefully we can get some little fruits off of that. And coming down to the last section of the update, I got new lights. So this is a Sunblaster LED. It's a 48 watt strip light, and I bought it and I've been testing it on a couple Cattleyas that have not been doing well. And if you look, they have got root growth going like crazy. So I'm super like down with these new lights. They were expensive. They were $148, I think, which is cheaper than the other pair of LEDs, but they seem to be doing well. So, you know, I'm not gonna complain too much. I've got this Sundew that's doing well. Again, super surprised that plants can do so well in low humidity based on all the things that I've read about. I'm sorry I keep sniffling. I took my dog the parents' dog for a run, and it's like not doing well for my nose. Anyways, excuse me. Anyways, I got the Sundew, which is new, to hopefully catch any additional fungus gnats. And then down here is a Mimosa Pudica, or the sensitive plant, which I love because it's so fun. Look at this thing. It's so cool and responsive. If you haven't had one of these, you need one. They're so cool. I've heard they're invasive, so don't grow them outside. But if you have room inside and you've got lots of light, definitely frickin' get one. Last update, I think, and then I'll cut it off. These are the Miracle Berry seeds. They're still alive. Shocking, I know. Their leaves are doing okay considering I'm watering them with kombucha water. And the plant beside them, I'm 99% sure is soursop. It frickin' smells so weird when I water it. The like leaves give off like a sour smell. It's very weird. It kind of stinks, but like, hey, whatever. I almost forgot one plant. This is a not well documented plant. I don't know why I can't get the hot spots to go away. I'm trying to use some artificial light. It's very annoying. Anyways, this is Phalaenopsis Mystic Princess. It's a hybrid between Cochlearis and Princess Kaluani. It has really fantastic kind of brown looking flowers. I'm very happy about this one because apparently Cochlearis is not a very friendly plant to deal with. It can be very finicky, doesn't like certain temperature swings and junk like that. Of course, you tend to lose that in hybridization. Oh my God. Hybridization. Why can I not say this word? Hybridization. I think that my mouth is not working. So you lose that in hybridization. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that word. It is a bit of a tongue twister, apparently, for me. Anyways, I love this plant. It's very like atypical in terms of color. It's got kind of a brown and yellow color. And then on top of that, it is fragrant very lightly and for a very short period of time. For the first, from the 3rd to about the 6th day, it smells like vanilla, which is like, I've never had a vanilla and also a transition of like citrus, but I've never had a Phalaenopsis that smelled like vanilla. So it's super awesome. Not super fragrant, which I wish that it was, but hey, like whatever. The aliens are invading. This looks so freaking gross in here. So thanks for watching and tagging along. I will again try and do more of these videos. Maybe not, don't really care. Appreciate you watching. The next video is going to be probably around the beginning of April because that's when I get all my plants, and I'm just going to do like a big like haul video. I also want to do a video on why I hate water culture, and I also want to do a video on orchid photography, which there's a bunch that exist, but I want to have my own video for that. Why the hell not? Oh, and then I also want to do a video on the most amazing way to get rid of thrips and mealybugs and and spider mites, which isn't actually an amazing way. But every time I tried to Google this or find a video that talked about like how to get rid of it, there's a million different options. And so I'm gonna make one video, just one, and I'm gonna talk about how the hell you get rid of pests. And it's gonna be based on some other things that I've read online and my own additions, but whatever, I'm gonna do one video on it. Anyways, so thanks again for watching. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because it's good for me, because then one day I'm gonna be a superstar, and that's important to you too, right? Anyways, thanks guys, bye.